What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Elite Dangerous. I can't help it, every time I say that, in that way, it always makes me think of Darkwing. So, as you've probably been able to deduce, we're kind of still in the same boat at the moment, quite literally, still in our fertile lands. I'm not 100% sure how much more we'll have to do to keep going, because I thought it might be a glitch or something, but my cadet rank is still at 100%. So I'm assuming I just need to get the federal rank up to a certain point. Well, reputation, not really rank, but I need to get them, like, they're currently at 75% and it's friendly, so I'm assuming I need to bump that back up a little bit. And then maybe it'll just go ahead and kick us over another mission, because my cadet rank is maxed out, so it's not really like we're working towards the next rank. I'm kind of just working towards the next progression mission. I can't pull it up on here yet, but we've got quite a few missions to do over here. I'm still ping-ponging. There we go. Yeah, and they're gonna do all... I'm starting to just ignore these after a minute. Time left is, what, 4 minutes? I can't really quite read that. Hold on. Let me get away from the sun. Whatever it is not enough. Yeah, 4 minutes, that's not gonna happen. The extra credits or whatever. Actually, I just realized I haven't done a planetary scan mission in this area, so YF 10E is what we're looking at, and this one's also 10E. It's very convenient for me when they put these on the same place. Okay, so we have a mission here, and 10E, we have a few there, and then was there anything else? Because I actually have quite a few, and one of them is a delivery mission, because we have a cargo hold now. So the delivery mission actually does involve, they do actually give you the stuff. I thought you had to find the resources that you needed, like buy them off the market or whatever. But when they're set as delivery, which is, I believe, the cargo and the arrow, like this icon, I believe, as they did this time. Now I'm thinking they actually just give you the stuff, because they just gave it to me. I'm pretty sure. Let me check my cargo before I say that. Yeah, so I have 3 of those. I just realized it says haulage, so that's interesting. Ah, crap, I waited too long. You know, I'm also not sure what happens if you rush towards a planet. Because normally, when you rush towards, like, a star or something, it'll come up and say, you know, emergency stop or whatever. I've never actually gone too fast and headed towards a planet before, so I wonder what would happen. I'm assuming the same thing, that it would just make you drop into emergency orbital cruise or something like that. So yeah. I had a fairly busy week this week with, you know, I had some... Well, there was Mother's Day on the weekend, but because of that, I had some family come into town and stuff, and they were here before that, and so we were doing stuff with them and things. So I had a fairly busy week and wasn't really able to do any more extra off-camera grind work this week on Elite, which kind of sucks, because I really need to get my rank going and stuff if we don't want to be locked into doing this kind of stuff forever.
Orbital flight engaged.
I've also never really tried this before either, but we're just going to do it. I'm just going to beeline. I think you might skip the orbital glide.
Integrity compromised.
Oh, that's what happens. So that's what happens. Okay. And I'm still kind of way out there. I don't know what's going on with these. I think they're bugged, because they basically just keep coming up all the time anytime I transition somewhere, and it's like, do this, do that thing, you know, that thing that you already know that you're supposed to do. So I don't really know what that's about. But anyways, so that's kind of why we're stuck doing the same thing. that we've been doing is because I hadn't really played it in between my last recording session and am now, you know, on to my time for recording. So, one thing I want to pose to you guys is basically, come on, go. I hate when you're not close enough, and that's my bad. I know, you guys don't have to tell me what I did wrong there, I know what I did. Because if you do all of the orbital transition correctly, if you do the, what's it called, orbital cruise and then to the orbital glide and all that kind of stuff, and if you kind of come in like a plane more on approach rather than straight down like I did, you'll actually get really close. Like, I've actually come out of orbital glide like 10 meters, or, well, no, 10 kilometers. 10 meters. That would be impressive. 10 kilometers away from the thing. Yeah. Oh, actually, I just now failed that mission, or that bonus mission for delivering in a certain amount of time. That's funny. I figured I failed that a long time ago. I forgot about it. So yeah, we're kind of doing the same thing of doing mission runs and stuff like that. I think I'm hoping that for just a couple of episodes like I'm doing here, that it won't be too crazy boring or anything. Like, we're getting to do some SRV stuff and things like that, which I don't normally do. So I'm hoping it's a little bit of a change of pace, but I understand if it's like, you know, if it gets really redundant, because at least with combat and stuff or exploring, you're seeing new stuff. This is literally just ping-ponging between two systems. But what I want to know from you guys is, do you want to see more of this, if this just happens to be what I'm still doing until we get our gunship, or while I do this in the off-camera stuff, do you want to see like CQC or something like that? Because I've thought about doing that. I've thought about doing some CQC stuff. I probably won't do anything crazy, like, I still want to keep things kind of somewhat isolated, if you will. I mean, if that makes sense. In that, like, I'm not planning on doing a bunch of, like, get on mics and stuff like that and actually talking to people and blah, 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 but, because CQC is, for those of you that may not be aware, is all, like, PvP type stuff. But it would be a little bit more action-y. It would be a little bit more, like, something new and yet still something kind of involved and going on, and there's something to see. So this episode is kind of going to be this way again, like it was last time, where, you know, I'm doing this stuff and blah blah blah. Ooh, that's a, oh, I don't think well, what is my cargo capacity? 4. Okay, so I don't have enough for that anyway, even if I had the rep. 18. So, yeah, you could definitely make some money in rep and stuff with this, too. I just don't have the cargo space to do it. I'm doing these smaller ones, but actually, this is making money, but it's only a rep +1. These boom datas or boom data, sorry, are actually more influential for the reputation and influence part. The deliveries just make you more money, but that's some pretty good stuff, though, to jump. It doesn't tell me where, though, because of the reputation, so I don't know where that's going. But still, if it's within a couple of systems. So we're going to grab these, because this is more Fed stuff as well. And it's going back to where... So that's an interesting little dynamic that... that I found out about when I was asking everybody, you know, like, what to do for reputation boosts and all that kind of stuff. What? Oh, rep change for them. Promotion to peddler. Well, now. Oh, that's a cool little animation. Your trading prowess has been noted to the Pilots Federation. And the Pilots Federation has promoted your trade rank to peddler. Why, thank you. I got a little excited there for a minute. I thought it was going to tell me my rank went up, but no. Okay. So we can leave here, and I have it unselected because if you have it selected and then try and warp or frame shift out of the atmosphere, it tells you that you can't because the target's obstructed. So the easiest way to leave is to basically just, the opposite of landing is basically just go up to almost 90 degrees and just fly straight out. And then when you're not mass locked anymore, you do a frame shift like that. So yeah, this episode's probably going to be more of this kind of thing of doing our missions, running the SRVs, things like that.
Incoming mission critical message.
Let me guess. Planetary scan job. Yep, go here. I know. I really don't know why these keep coming up. It's kind of aggravating, actually. I feel like that's a bug. Alright, so now we can lock that in, which is over that way. I always try and, like, boost when I'm in this part, because I'm not quite out of the atmosphere, or out of the planet's gravitational whatever. Not atmosphere. And I don't feel like I'm going very fast because I keep seeing my target way over there. So I'm always hitting the boost button like, come on, go, you can do it. So yeah, but I'd like to know if you guys, because I understand, oh, wait, what? Oh, I'm still within the orbital cruise. I understand, I get it, that this can be kind of monotonous. Usually when I've done off-camera work for this kind of stuff, I usually had my tablet over on the side doing like Netflix or Udemy tutorials or something like that. So I feel like it's like I'm more focused on that, and this is just kind of the back and forth, push buttons, you know, do it again, that kind of thing. So I totally understand if it's monotonous or whatever, and you'd rather see something else. At the moment, unless they did like a beta or something where I could kind of take a clean slate save and go somewhere else, at the moment this is kind of what I have to work with. Other than CQC, which is why I brought that up. It's the only other thing I could do in Elite at the moment, where I can kind of keep this on the back burner, and then when I go to record a video, switch over to a different mode. All the other ones, you know, unless I did, like, something silly, like training missions or something, but that's more of, like, why, you know, what's the point kind of thing. So that's kind of my thought process on it. Was if you guys are fine with it, I'm fine with it. If you don't mind, I mean, for those of you that stuck with me through the exploration phase, it can't be any more dull than that. I don't think. You know, so if you're still sticking around and you're fine with it, that's fine. Let me know. If you find it tedious and would rather this be done off camera until my rep's where I need it to be and can kind of resume and switch over to like CQC for a bit or something, I can do that too. Just full disclosure, do not, if we decide to do that, if we decide to switch over to CQC for a bit and have this be kind of the off-camera section, do not, under any circumstances, expect me to do well. For two reasons. One, I am not the best PvPer in the world to begin with. I do okay against other NPC pilots because, frankly, they're usually dumber than people. And they're not as good of a pilot. But I've even been blown up and cut close a few times fighting NPCs. But I've only done player combat a couple of times. Actually, for those of you that may not be aware, I haven't mentioned it in a while, most of the time I play in solo play as it is, so I rarely even see other players. Not... And it's mixed. Some people would say, well, you're not really getting the full Elite experience then, and I understand that. But for me, it comes off of personal experience, not really... It doesn't really come from where the game is designed, it comes from a experience side, where the game may be designed to be an MMO type of thing of playing with multiple players, But frankly, in my experience, the only benefit I've never really received a benefit from playing with other players, is I guess my point. There was one time a while ago where I was doing power play stuff, and I did meet up, or I did run into a local player that was in the same system as me, and we joined up in a wing and we're going after the power play stuff. I'm gonna see if I can do a better, more proper landing this time. So, you know, I did that once, and some of you may remember my video of that, where I was playing with other players. Whoop! Like I said about... Yeah, never mind. I went the wrong way. I was hung up on my object there. My objective. Alright, let me see. I gotta get back out. I'm way too high to be in surface flight mode. This ain't gonna work. I might actually have to... I have to jump, don't I? Yeah, I have to frame shift to get out of orbital cruise. Alright. Unlock... Oh, it's in cooldown because of the emergency landing. Sorry, that kind of interrupted my train of thought, but yeah. So, personally, I've only been, like, other than that one time where somebody was actually helping me out and stuff, most of the time, every experience I had with PvP was just people being jerks, and, you know, they'd do interdictions or attack you even though I didn't have a bounty or anything, just because you were a player, and it was kind of just not fun, basically. And that's what I meant by, you know, some people will say one thing as far as, you know, it's not the same experience or whatever. Actually, I don't want to go all the way out, you dummy. There we go. Wait. No, that's... Okay, it's bringing me back around. I was like, wait a minute, that is way too high. Alright. So basically, I jacked up this landing horribly, is the bottom line here. I was saying I want to see if I can show you a better landing. That was not it. That was not it at all. So basically, everything I've done so far with this landing, don't do that. Just don't. Like I said, not the best player in the world. So, yeah, so because of that, because of just not really enjoying the player interaction, basically, I ended up kind of switching over to solo mode, because there's no, it's all just NPC, there's no players involved at that point, and personally, I really haven't felt any, like, oh, I'm just missing out on this aspect of the game or so. I really haven't seen anything like that, to be quite honest. I mean, it's cool if you do. If it's really that's like that's what I was meaning by it's player preference. Is if you're, you know, if you really enjoy it and that's like the whole reason you play, kudos. I mean, that's cool. That's one thing that makes Elite an interesting game. Is it's kind of a whatever floats your boat type of game. You can be a trader, you can be a trader, not traitor. Well, you can be that too. You know, you can be a pirate, you can be a bounty hunter like me, miner, you know. You can basically play it however you want, and that's what makes it so intriguing as a game. There it is. So, you know, that's not really a commentary on, like, oh, they did the game wrong or anything. That was just kind of an explanation, rather, on why I don't usually play in... Sorry, I'm trying to actually pay attention. But it's basically, like, why I don't really play in multiplayer mode, and I usually stick to the solo mode. But the CQC is a little bit different, because if you die, I'm not really worried. Like, it's separated, so I don't really care. I'm not losing my fertile lance and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I feel like sometimes what hurt the PvP side of Elite for me, personally, was the fact that, like, you would lose solo progress. You know, you'd lose solo progress based on some random jerk player that for no reason, like, it's not like I had a bounty or something. But for basically no reason would just shoot you down or something like that. And then you lose single player progress. Dagnabbit, these freaking rocks. I'm always running into these things. So yeah, that was kind of my... Wait, why is my turret deploying? Oh, it automatically comes out when you're away from your ship, that's right. I might need to change up my controls a little bit. I have on, for any of you that are familiar that I use a controller, I've got the turning set to the left and right triggers, but I think sometimes they're a little too binary and not pressure sensitive enough. And so it makes it a little challenging. Alright. I don't know if this one is for both of them or not. All links established. Okay. So let's go through all these. Well done. Well done. Okay. So I guess we're done, right? Let's check the panel thing. Double check and make sure. Updated. You receive your reward upon delivery. Receive your reward upon delivery. And we've got... And this is all going back to the terminal, right? Cargo rewards, nano breakers. That's the terminal. That's the terminal. Okay, so. What? Yeah, now it's telling me to return. I figured it out already. Useless messages. Gosh, this thing is so fragile. I barely bumped a rock. I mean, I have shields on, right? So why is it just like touching a rock seems to damage the ship? I don't know, that's why I have two. It's a backup. But yeah, so CQC was an interesting idea that I never really got into. Not really because of a lack of interest, just a lack of reason, I guess. Just never really seemed to have a purpose or a reason to try it. But because they start you off with like a tiny ship with basically nothing, and I have very little experience fighting other players, if you guys want to see that, just be prepared for a comedy where I die all the time. And if that's your cup of tea and you think that'd be fun or whatever, and more entertaining than listening to me babble about random PvP stuff and, you know, whatever other topics just happen to pop into my head, because that's usually where I get most of my, it's usually where I get most of my podcast-like content, is I just keep talking, and eventually you move from one topic to the next and the next and the next. I actually don't want to lock onto that yet. Because I want to do that. So yeah, that's basically kind of where my head's at with this at the moment. Is we can now the other aspect, I suppose, to this. Am I still in? That'll take me longer. Let's go this way. The other aspect to this is that I could do some of this off camera, and then when it comes to recording days, I've kind of forgotten, but one of these systems, I think it's NewSing, oh nope, it's this one too, has resource extraction sites, and I don't know what the Sector 285 is, but I believe, I know NewSing, we can see it right there, is, is Federation controlled. So if you get Federation bounties, or if you get bounties for the factions in that local area that are Federal aligned, you should also get a little rep boost, but not as much as doing these missions. So basically our options are, I can keep doing this, I can do this off camera only and do bounty hunting when I'm recording, or I can do this off camera only and do like CQC when I'm recording. That's kind of an up to you guys type of thing. I'm leaving that in your capable hands as to the preference. And keep in mind, everybody, opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. So keep that in mind, that if you say CQC and I end up doing bounty hunting, it's not like because I'm not paying attention. It's actually because I probably have been paying attention to just the majority. If you get 5 for CQC and 10 for bounty hunting, just as a YouTuber, you go with whatever the majority are looking for most of the time, unless there's some reason you don't want to do the majority thing. But in that scenario, I wouldn't be asking for feedback. I'd just be saying this is what I'm doing. So if I'm ever open about feedback and like, what do you guys think? If I ever do something like that, I am looking for ideas and opinions, kind of thing. Because for me, I'm doing this off camera sometimes anyway, so there's not really a whole lot of difference other than I'm talking versus watching something. So to me, whether it's tedious or not, I'm kind of trying to get somewhere, so I'm going to end up doing it one way or another. So I don't really have a stake per se as to what content is put in the videos, because I'm playing the game kind of differently than you're seeing it, essentially. So it basically comes down to what you guys want to see. And with that in mind, that's what I said was, just don't feel bad like, I've been ignored. He doesn't listen to anybody, Just don't take it personally, basically, if I don't end up using your specific suggestion, because it would probably just mean that the majority idea or the bulk of the comments or suggestions or whatever are kind of going in the other direction or something like that. But, and I should note this, I've brought it up a few times here and there in different various videos on various series, but I have been doing terrible lately at keeping up with my comments. I used to try really diligently to answer every single comment, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't answer things at all, or I talk about it in a video, but I don't comment to it directly. Again, that's not please don't take that personally. I do read most every single comment if I see them. Now, I have run into someone commenting on an old video, and because of that, if I'm looking at specific videos like, okay, what did people comment on the last video of this, like Elite? Before I go to record an episode, I usually end up pulling up the last episode's comments and seeing what people said. But that's only a week back. And so, if somebody comments on like an old video that was from 4 weeks ago or something like that, or even, doesn't even always have to be that old, but something that far back, if that happens, then I don't always see it, because for those of you that may not know, YouTube has a couple of different ways of looking at your comments. I don't like pulling up the video directly and looking at them, because it counts as a false view. Like, it will take my view into account that I pulled up my own video, and I don't like doing that. So there's a way that you can pull up just the comments on a video when you're looking at again, it's from the creator side. I don't think that a viewer could see this, but on the creators panel, there's an option where you can basically click on the comment icon for a video, and it will pull up just a page, like a forum post type of thing or whatever, where it just shows like a bunch of comments. But it's isolated to that video. There's also a generic comment section that you can pull up, which is any comment that your channel has received, and it puts it like newest to oldest type of thing like that. And so most of the time, once every couple of weeks or something, I at least try and look through the generic comment section, because that will actually show you the whatchamacallit, the older ones, like if somebody posts on or comments on a video that's older, it will actually show that because it's just whatever was the most recent comment, even if it was on an old video. But if you pull up, like I mentioned, if I pull up like the last episode of Elite specifically, you're only seeing the comments for that specific episode.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Oh, is it now? I may want to sell that then, because I think I have another thing that's going to give me that. Cargo. Let's go by cargo. There it is. Modular terminals. Okay. So that's done. So yeah. So just keep that in mind. And that's what I was meaning by apologizing for if you commented on a video a couple times ago or something like that, and I didn't even respond to it, didn't bring up the comment, anything like that. A lot of times that's honestly because I didn't see it. It was usually in that section where, you know, it's for your entire channel or something, and I just didn't see it, or it got buried or something like that. I'm thankful that I actually have had enough interaction with you guys and stuff like that. There are times where I do miss things because it tells me I'm getting a lot of comments, which is cool. You know, I enjoy that part. But again, I just want to express that it's like, you know, I'm not one of those, you know, like, they're just in, you know, like, I'm just ignoring stuff because I just don't want to talk to you or something like that. There are some, if they seem kind of somewhat negative or something like that, or derogatory. I don't have very many of those, but if I come across one, yeah, that I'll kind of like, I'm not responding to that or something like that. But if it's generally like, you know, hey, have you tried this or something, and I just don't say anything, yeah, that's not on purpose. that's genuinely just because I probably didn't see it. So please don't take offense to that if that happened to you. But yeah. And the same goes with, you know, if I don't use an idea that a specific person had or something, a lot of times it's just because the majority went a different way with it or something like that. Because usually if I just openly am like, I don't think I want to do that, I'll usually bring it up and discuss it and be like, you know, this is why I don't want to do that. We'll go ahead and donate to the cause, because that's basically like free rep. So close. Okay, so real quick, this, dang, I don't really have time to do these right now. I wish I did though, because those are some good missions and they're close. Oh well, there will be more. Alright, available. But again, I'm not taking on new missions, I'm just kind of checking these out, because we're about to wrap up this episode, so... Boom delivery. I was actually looking to see if I had any rank missions or not. It does not look that way. I don't see anything from the Navy. Let's check out our rep. I don't get that. We were at 75. We're now at 76, but the thing still has a red arrow. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so anyways, on that note, we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.